Jimmy, yeah, last week we had a great discussion on, let's see, do dads need friends, right? And it was such a great conversation that we couldn't contain all the goodness in one episode.
That's
So
right.
we had to do a twofer, a two for one. But really, it's two
We
for
still have
two
to get
because,
to the that chewy caramel center of it all.
yes, the nougat, if you will, not
The
not the
nougat.
not the coconut nastiness that I can't stand. The the caramel center. Caramel or caramel?
Yeah.
Caramel.
Yes.
So I think we left off with talking about how isolation is dangerous for a father and a dad, not having a bro, not having people in your life to lean on. Um, so I guess the question would be why, and that leads us into the next part, which is um, how do we as dads get encouragement, and how do we stay accountable? And I think the answer is having um, outstanding, high moral, high principle friends, other dudes, other dads, to keep you honest, keep you on track.
hmm Yeah, I think you got to start with taking an account of who is it that you have the most contact with? Who is it that you're spending your time with? You interact with either in person through community settings, in person just hanging out with guys, or even just online. Uh, Take a moment, take account of who it is that you are interacting with regularly. And it's back to that kind of, we were talking last week, that verse in Proverbs is iron sharpens iron. It's only when it's in contact with each other that that sharpening happens. So figure out who it is that you're paired up with for sharpening. And is it someone that you're the only one doing the sharpening because they're really dull, or um, causing other issues because they end up making you dull? Or are you surrounding yourself with people of strong character, like you were saying, moral values, like-mindedness? Are you surrounding yourself with other dudes who are also going to reciprocate in that sharpening with you?
Yep, absolutely. While you were saying that, I had, as usual, whenever you talk, I just have questions popping up in my mind. So, that's what happens when you finish talking. You should be ready for like a backfire of questions from me. But
All right.
the question that got spurred this time is, have you ever had a friend that you would consider dull that you had to take action on in your life? Like you had to adjust if you hung out with him or not, and you suddenly just realized this guy's dull.
Never. I always surround myself with awesome guys. That's just
They never go dull. They're always sharp.
yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
no, no. I mean, and when I say dull, I don't necessarily mean boring, but like the guys that are, when I say dull, it's like not sharp, not a useful tool. So here's the thing about anytime you're using even just a box cutter or just any sort of knife, a dull knife or a dull blade is a dangerous blade because it gets caught when you're trying to use it and it sticks, and then it suddenly will move, it'll cut, and that can come back and get you and cut you. So it needs to be sharp. A safe knife or a safe blade is a sharp blade. So when I say dull, I'm more meaning that.
That's
And
that's a T-shirt right there. A dull
there you go.
dad. A
Yeah.
dull dad is a dangerous dad.
Dangerous
And
dad.
have it on
Yeah.
a box cutter.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, surround yourself with other men who aren't dull in the sense that if you're not careful, it's going to come back and bite you. It's going to cause damage, cause injury, cause pain.
It won't
And
cut you
yeah, there's
because
been
it's
times
dull.
exact because it's so
It's
dull.
dull. It's just kind of just like be. Eh.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I've had some guys around me in my life over the years. Some guys in college would find myself hanging out with them, and just like, you know what, this isn't where I want to be surrounding myself. This isn't benefiting me. Could have fun, laughter. Was there much else benefit? Probably not. Was there anything that could have put me in a situation that I would regret later? Probably. So
Yeah, it's not like
you just have to
not the same
constantly take it.
interests. You have the same interests. It's just when you're around that type of person, you don't feel challenged. You don't feel I don't know. You don't feel empowered. Maybe I'm not like lift each other up and empower each other all the time. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it's that certain feeling that this person isn't taking me places.
Yeah.
So nice way to say
And
that
we
too.
want to go places.
Yeah, we want to go
Yeah.
places. Like I'm talking about like the grocery store or the hardware store. On a project 4 times before you get started. Um, but places like better human beings. Those kind of
Hmm.
places.
Yeah.
Uh, so whenever you, okay, so how do you quantify that? How do you define a useful person that's not dull in your life? Would you maybe say they have deep conversations with you that are meaningful, more than about just their own complaints and lifestyle? Maybe.
Yeah. I think it's taking an assessment, taking an honest assessment, take a step back, take a look. Whenever I'm done interacting with other guy, whether we're out doing something or interacting online, whatever it is, uh, when I'm done, do I feel more encouraged? Do I feel like I'm becoming more of who God designed me to be? Am I stepping more into that identity, or am I stepping to some other non-beneficial identity? Am I believing lies? Am I thinking things about myself or thinking things about others that isn't accurate, isn't honest, isn't true? And the only way that you can come to that kind of realization is and it takes practice, having an honest conversation with yourself, taking that honest assessment and looking at it. And like, but he's the guy that we have so much fun and we go on all these crazy adventures. But yeah, I always feel like, feel like trash after hanging out. But in the moment, we're having so much fun. Like, then those can be sometimes the hard ones you got to rip off like a band aid. That it's going to hurt, like saying, hey, you know what? We have a good time when we hang out, but I can't interact with you anymore. And that's tough. And I understand that selfish desire of like, man, but we've been through a lot, and they're my bro. Um, but if it's always causing you pain or harm, or especially pain or harm to your family,
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
they're always dragging you away, they kind of monopolize your time and your energy away from your family, and they just kind of always suck you dry, and then you don't have anything left for your family. Like, you got to take that honest assessment and just look at your life and determine, is this where I want to be? Is this how I want my life to be going?
And sometimes those people in your life that you are enjoying your little side hobbies with or doing things with, maybe they are just um, adequate for your enjoyment and your escape from reality. But you have to look at them in the sense of, are you aligned? Um, I guess biblically, do they have your best interests in mind when they're dealing with you? Because people
Mm-hmm.
can just, there's no harm in hanging out with somebody and just enjoying yourself, right? But you have to see, are you doing harm to yourself long term? Are you picking up their negative traits, their viewpoints on life that don't align with the Christian world value that you might hold? So you need to really assess that, and like Jimmy said, it's very hard. Sometimes you don't want to let go of those people, and sometimes they just take care of themselves without you even having to initiate that. But you know, uh, it's something you got to evaluate on the daily and see, is this where I need to be and who I need to be with. Um, kind of kind of a good gauge for that would be if you look at who you're interacting with, you're investing time in that person. You're investing time in their life. They are getting something out of being a friend with you or being around you. Now, whether you have to kind of evaluate that two ways. What are they getting from me, and what are they giving to me? Not that it has to always be a reciprocal, exactly one for one, because sometimes you get different things out of different people. Uh, I lost Jimmy again. Jimmy, where'd you go? You're still there.
See me?
There you go. Wow, you blinked off for like half a second. That was impressive.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's the crazy wind I'm having today, but I can hear it whipping around out there. So I don't know if that's. I
Whooping.
apologize. Yeah,
It's okay, Jimmy.
it's giving a
I'm
whooping.
I'm investing time into you, and
Yes,
you're investing time into me, and it's okay.
it's okay.
Um,
I'm
but
here
like
for you. I'm back.
yeah, see, he came back.
I came
Uh,
back.
but the investment has to be mutual both ways. Like if you are being a negative impact on somebody else, like we've kind of beat this horse for a while, but like, they have to stand up for that, and you have to also realize that you're not a good impact on them, possibly in the way that you should be, um, and then you change yourself. Uh, but if you are looking the other way and they are having a negative impact on your life, you gotta see how much they're investing in you, your well being. Because if they're not invested in you, do they care enough about you in the way that you need them to care about you? And this all sounds like wishy washy, like a bunch of dudes talking about feelings and investing in each other. I think investing is a good word though. It's better than like
Mm,
some other words we could use.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I desire to be the best version of myself that I can be. Um, and I absolutely have my list of things that are part of that growth journey that I desire to go on, things that I want to be challenged with, things I want to improve on. And if I want that for myself, then I need to take that moment to surround myself with other like-minded guys that are going to help me along in that journey. There's going to be guys that are better at other entrepreneurial tasks, or other guys that I look at and go, the way that you raised your teenage children who have grown off, and I'm just now getting into the world of having teenagers in my home. Surround myself with guys that can help me there. Uh,
So you're saying
and
that
it's
if
yeah,
all of a sudden you just leave my friendship circle, it's because you don't like how I raise my kids?
that's probably it.
Yeah. That's a good point though. Like you don't like just going sports here, right? If you have a lineup of people in front of you and you're doing the old playground picking teams, you don't pick the worst people first, do you? You don't want those people on your team infecting your good game. You want to pick the people who are better than you. If you're humble enough to admit that. But like you don't want to pick the worst kid. So you want to pick good people. You want to surround yourself with good people because you need them to augment your life and fill in the gaps that you have. Whether you want to admit you have them or not, you need people around you to help you strive to be a better person.
You're bringing up all the playground nightmares of my childhood right now.
Did you have these
Why am I
experiences?
always last?
See, I was always the my past is a sad past in this regard. I was the ultimate mistake that a team captain would pick because he's like, okay, let's just say basketball for example, right? We're on the playground courts, and they're like, oh, pick Josh. He's really tall. He has to be good at basketball.
It's not a direct correlation.
No, I am here to tell you that basketball skills are in fact not tied to height. They have
Yeah.
nothing to do with that. And in
Uh-huh.
fact, you can be terrible at basketball, terrible at most things sports, and be really athletic looking. Now, let's go on another tangent of I'm not athletic looking at all. Like right now, if you looked at me, you'd be like, nope, wouldn't pick him.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I was like half the man uh, physically that I am now, and it was a little easier to see. Maybe this little scrawny tall kid can put some hoops up, but no, I assure you, it never happened.
No. I always wonder, why don't we have team captains for things like when it's time to do science experiments or math? Because those I would be the first picked. But yeah, athletics, was it?
What kind of
Was it me?
outward symbol can you wear to let people know that though? Like a pocket protector and
It's true.
stereotypical bow tie and plaid shirt or
Yeah,
something?
pick Jimmy. He's always back there like making things explode, and that's fun. So
Yeah, there's two kinds of people who do that. Huh. Yeah, that makes you wonder, like, team captain. Like, that's a good concept. How to be a team captain for your group, how to be a team captain for your family, how to be a team captain for your group of can we say bro dads, dad friends,
yeah, yeah.
da- like dad buddies, da buddies,
Dubs, all my
dubs.
dubs out there.
How to be the team captain for your dubs. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, terrible shirt. Don't do that one.
yeah. No, no.
Okay, so moving right along because I think we're ready. Um, Looking at brotherhood in general, like friendship, brotherhood, surround yourself with like-minded dudes and other people that you want to pour into or be poured in from. A great example we have on that would be Jesus, right? Jesus had a brotherhood. He, Mark 3:14. He appointed 12 that might be with him and that he might send them out to preach. He surrounded himself with 12 disciples, people to pour into. And those disciples didn't surround themselves with. In the beginning, before they joined um, Jesus, they had totally different lives, doing different things, and they saw what Jesus brought to the table. They saw the person he was and the the power he had, and they wanted to be around that. They were drawn to that, right? So that kind of strengthens, I didn't say we have an argument, but our position that you should be striving to be better and be around people who make you better, right? It's modeled for us in the Bible.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no better example that we can try to draw from for community. And I mean, obviously, Jesus is that ultimate example of knowing how to draw the best out of someone that he surrounds himself with. Um, and yeah, that's something that I would then desire to have those other guys in my life that can see something in me, draw something out of me. And I'm getting to that point in my life. You can see all the grays showing up here in the facial hair. I'm getting to that point in my life where it's definitely time. Okay, where can I find other gentlemen that I can see what I can draw out of them? I'm really enjoying the time that I've gotten to have this last year, having a classroom of seventh graders. I've got for our homeschool co-op. I've got a group of five young men in that class that have really good young minds, asking a lot of really insightful questions. And I get to spend time with them every week, seeing what I can draw out of them. Try not to make the determination of where I think their brains should be, or how I think they should think, but teaching them those tools of asking questions for themselves, figuring out what they want to think about a given topic on their own, and getting to help guide them along in that. Like it's been a great experience, and yeah, I'm starting to try to figure out how I can do even more of that sort of thing with other guys that realize, I want to grow. I need someone to help me grow. And where can I step in to help with that?
And that's interesting because I recently within the past month or two, in our life group at our church, there was a question that was raised. When is it that you feel closer to God? How do you feel like your walk is closer? What activities do you do to do that? And my answer kind of made the class chuckle, and I didn't think about it in the sense that they were thinking about it, but it made sense to me, and it still does. And hearing you say that, it kind of brings it up again in my mind. My response was, like you, I have a group of younger boys that I help each week. We have a fifth and sixth grade class at our church in the evenings that we help with. I have the sixth grade class. They're about 10 or 12 of us in there, and they're pretty rambunctious. They're sixth graders, so you can expect that. And even though it's a struggle to get them to be focused a lot of times, I feel closer in my daily walk with God trying to teach someone else that. It's trying to share the word with somebody else, trying to help them understand the importance behind it. Really makes me feel like I'm doing the right thing, and it's not like a feeling good kind of thing. It's just it. I feel like I'm doing good. Instead of being selfish and trying to teach them. I don't know how you could teach someone selfish things. Bad example. But the point being, like, I feel closest doing that. I recently had a bunch of, what was it, eighth graders over my house for a D9 weekend. That was another 11 or 10 eighth grade boys. Same situation. Like, they were rambunctious. They had their own friend niche group. They didn't know me very well, but pouring into them and getting to know them and their struggles and finally cracking that shell toward the end, I was able to see how important it is to have a male influence in their lives to um, share Jesus with them and share the correct way and give tips on things, even if I'm not an expert. Like, we went around the classroom at the very end, and we were talking about what kind of sins do you struggle with in your life, and they had some real struggles, like listening to mom and dad. On the surface, sounds pretty benign, but like they're bringing it up in the context that I want to be better, and we're learning about how Jesus is following Jesus makes us better. So they're getting that concept early on, but now they're needing help in practice. So that's when you can really it shows. Talking to this exact same thing with them. Hey, who you surround yourself at school with? Who are your friends? Because your friends make a difference. If what music you're listening to, all those influences you have in your life. So it's been rewarding to do that. But that was my answer in Sunday school, and it was kind of funny because they're like, "You feel closer to God watching, helping with sixth graders." I'm like, "Yeah, it sounds funny, but yeah, just it's my answer."
Yeah. I mean, what I love about it, and with this group of kids, and other times I've got to work with kids, or just any other time I'm interacting with other dads, it's being what you bring to the table and realizing that others also bring something to the table as well. I mean, these kids will ask questions, they'll bring up topics or have a viewpoint on a given discussion topic that didn't come to my mind. Like, I didn't,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, I never thought of it that way. Because they come with different life experiences, they come with different prior preconceived notions or prior knowledge that they learned, a different book that they've read or a different show that they learned from or something, and they bring something else to the table. It's like, you go to a great potluck dinner. I mean, we like our potlucks in the
Yeah.
evangelical Christian world, and one of my favorites there. You get the big cheesy rice broccoli casserole. The
Oh
more
yeah.
more cheese than anything else. Just throw the cheese in there. Like, you show up with that, and if you're by yourself, you're just sitting alone eating a big cheesy broccoli casserole. Like, that's a pretty pathetic experience. But when you bring it with lots of other people, everyone's bringing a different thing. You end up having a big feast. It's a big banquet where everyone's sharing, and you get all this exchange of great stuff. And because Jesus invited us to his banqueting table. See how I
Ooh,
brought that
nice
back?
tie
I
back.
landed that
Yeah.
pretty well.
I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot to unpack with what you just said here. Like, hang on,
Yeah.
let's take a step
Cheesy
back.
broccoli casserole.
Yeah, you went to cheesy broccoli casserole first in a potluck. Like, you
Uh-huh.
didn't go to,
Oh.
like, I don't know, anything else. Like, anything
Yeah, I
else.
skipped the fried chicken because who knows if it's even cooked through all the way.
What
I've had
about
some
that
bad fried
that
chicken experiences at church potlucks.
that casserole dish? That's the au gratin potatoes. The discs.
Oh, those are good.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
another thing that's like maybe it's the only cheesy smothered things that are like
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I'm trying. My
I just had
mind
a
can't
big
stop thinking
yellow
of this
plate
now.
of cheesy stuff. That's like all I would get when I was a kid. Yeah.
Or shepherd's pie. Remember those? Like the
Oh
big
yeah,
the
yeah.
big old not saying bucket, but big old container. And it's like the peas and the mashed potatoes and the meat, and sometimes you get the cold
Hmm.
stuff, sometimes you get the warm stuff.
Now, the one that I didn't understand growing up is that it was at almost every church potluck when I was a kid is I mean, growing up in the 80s, that's when Jello molds were still somewhat
Mm.
popular. You
Yep.
would, form something in a Jello shape,
Mm-hmm.
and there would be some that would be, like a strawberry Jello, and it had some marshmallows or something in it. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I could
Or
see
the
that.
fruit.
And then there'd be one that had like grapes
Mm-hmm.
and carrot shavings,
Oh. Oh.
or little bits of ham.
Mm.
Yeah, those always. No one would touch those, but they were always there, and I didn't quite get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was
Sorry,
a
I derailed us there.
yeah. He just got me off like uh, carrot shavings in a Jello mold. Mm-mm. Nope.
Yeah.
If someone's making
Nope.
that, like, this is gonna be great. Everyone's gonna love this. It's like, no, Janet, no one's gonna love this.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. So how does that tie into um, intentionally building friendships? How can we intentionally build friendships with other guys? Hmm? Jello
You
molds.
know, yeah, with Jello molds, dudes love their Jello molds. The other thing I brought up last week, I've been a part of numerous men's studies or men's church men's groups that were called the Forge or something, where they
Mm-hmm.
take that idea from that verse
Yeah,
in
manly.
Proverbs of iron sharpening iron. And the other one, there's two big ones, and it's always either something Forge or something like that related, or there's Band of Brothers. Like that's
Mm.
like regularly used for men's stuff. And so a lot of, I think, the understanding or the where people's minds go specifically for that term is from the HBO series Band of
Mm-hmm.
Brothers,
Yeah.
if you've seen that.
David
So I
Swimmer that
love
he
even
never thought he'd act that way, but he does.
right, yeah, yeah. But it's a really good series. The show was really done really, really, really well. And it was based off of a book. Stephen Ambrose was a historian, and he wrote kind of the history of Easy Company during World War II. Well, I prefer, and I really love, and I've gone back to this book a number of times. Major Dick Winters from Easy Company. He was the one with the red hair in the TV show, so
Mm-hmm.
he's kind of like that group leader. He went back after the show came out, and he's like, you know what? To have the most honest representation of this story, he started reaching out to all the guys, realizing they were all getting up in years and they weren't going to be around for much longer. He just started collecting all the letters, any journals, anything he could get from all of the guys, and he compiled his own history of everything that Easy Company went through. And
Wow.
you get to see every beat of their story of they all came together as strangers. They didn't understand or know anything about one another. You get some alpha guys in there that I'm going to take charge, I'm going to take lead, and stumble and fall, and some of the other guys that you think, what are they going to bring to the table? I don't see what use they are, end up being a random hero for a moment later down the road because they brought something very specific
Mm.
that was needed in that moment. And you get to see their entire journey, where they ended up being one of the most important and impactful groups in all of World War II. But they went through a lot to get there. And so that's always encouraged me when thinking about my journey as a husband, as a dad, as a man, and reflecting on this, what we get to read through Scripture of Jesus with his 12 disciples. Like they went through some stuff. They were regularly run out of town from people that didn't quite get what they were up to. They were constantly harassed, brought questions that people trying to get them in mind traps or whatever. And you see that growth over the course of those 2 to 3 years of their ministry. You can start seeing that growth of a handful of these individuals, and then just the amazing story of church that happened after Christ's death and resurrection. You get to read through the book of Acts, where Peter really steps into his role, especially after Christ is gone, and then the introduction of other characters, Paul and others. And it's because of that tight knit, challenging one another, humbling each other, or being humble with each other, I should say. And sometimes accidentally living out your fleshly side and making choices that aren't the best. But in the end, that's how the Christian church came about, is what God was able to do with these imperfect, roughneck, rough and tumble, don't know what they're doing group of guys, and that's encouraging to me.
Yeah. And that's a group of guys that are already together and they're going through the trials of life. They have a great commission to go out and they have a mission, common goals together to do something. And while they're going through that, you see them calling each other out on their mistakes. You see them holding each other accountable. It's not always pretty, um, but in the end, they have a common foundation of Christ that helps unify them. They went through some stuff together, and they saw persecution, they saw miracles. I mean, they had a tight knit group of people, tight band of brothers. So
Yeah.
how does that translate into nowadays? How do we get that concept and that tightness with people around us today that we don't see miracles with, that we don't get persecuted? Like, there's different forms of persecution, obviously, but like how do you strengthen that friendship from today's standpoint?
Mm-hmm. That's where I bumble things a lot. I've been that loner a lot of times, just kind of stuck to my guns on my own. That's the thing. A lot of guys are like, oh yeah, I'm a lone wolf. Well, that's
Mm-hmm.
the thing. Wolves need the pack, and the
Pack
lone wolf
wolf.
doesn't. That's right.
I hear that. I want to
Lone
smack
wolves
him
don't
upside the
work
head and
out.
be like, "Do you know what a wolf is, you idiot?" But yeah, I can't say that. That's not encouraging to another guy.
That's right. That's right. Um, but yeah, like so I got a text last night from a guy that I know. It was a big group text. It was I think he picked like 15 different guys. And he's trying to get his floor redone in his house, and he needs help with a handful of guys to come in and help him refinish his floor at his house. And a lot of times that's the sort of thing like, it's Saturday. I've got some other things I want to do. But I was talking to my wife last night, and like, you know what? I need more opportunities, more interaction with other guys where it's a chance to. I might not know anyone else there other than the guy that did the invite. And a lot of times I am kind of that wallflower. I just kind of sit back and watch everyone else do their thing. But you know what? I got to push myself sometime. I got to get out there and be around other guys. Might make a new friend. I might have an opportunity to pour into someone else who's having a rough day, and maybe I can encourage them somehow. Otherwise, there's going to be donuts. So that's a bonus.
Donuts, you say?
Donuts, I say.
Donuts.
But yeah, it's when the opportunity arises, sometimes you just got to take it. And our calendars are always so wild and so crazy with family stuff. It can be really hard you start thinking about, well, I don't have close guy friends because I'm just never around any. Well, random opportunities might arise, and my natural response is I don't really want to. I've got other
Yeah.
things I want to do. But this time, like I'm gonna step out there and I'm gonna do this.
It's like,
And I might nail my shoe to the floor, or I might make a new friend. I don't know. We'll see.
great times either way.
That's right.
uh, yeah. I mean, my initial reaction to everything, I'd say, is probably like, no, no. Like, my kids, I don't know if it's a joke or just an annoyance in my family, but the kids come to me and ask for something. I'm like, no, absolutely not. They go to mom and she's like, sure, we can do
Sure.
that. Just like, but I just said no, you know? And she's like, but you always say no. It's like, you're not wrong.
The
But
the
I mean,
default setting.
yeah, default setting, no, no. And it used to be a lot worse. Like, I'd say a long time ago. Especially, let's go back some time. When I was first dating my wife, and I was pursuing her, I was very selfish, and I wanted just to hang out with her. And I learned very quickly that, you know, other people might like hanging out with other people as well. So you can't just be like, only me, nobody else, because that makes you a jerk. So, I had to learn to, yes, we can go out with your friends. Sure, we can do that. And by doing that, you know what? I actually met some pretty upstanding dudes, you know? And I've also met some couples that we don't talk to anymore that I'm okay with not talking to anymore. But in the
It happens.
process, yeah, the natural weeding out of people over time. But we've had some really strong friendships be built that way, and it's all because my wife drugged me to some party or some event that I did not want to go to, and I would have said no to if it was fully up to me. Because sitting at home and being by myself is a lot simpler and a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, it's even us doing this on Wednesday mornings.
Yeah,
Initially, I would be, I
no,
don't know what I'm gonna bring to the table. I don't have enough words in my brain bucket to spill out on a weekly episode, but here we are. We're doing good, and I feel like we're helping each other. If no one else is listening,
yeah,
we get to sharpen each other. But
that's
hopefully,
right.
along the way, we're dropping little nuggets that other guys can benefit from too.
Dropping little nuggets. That's a good
Dropping
phraseology.
nuggets.
Good phraseology. How can that be a T-shirt?
I was gonna say another T-shirt there.
Dropping dad nuggets.
The dad school store will be opening soon with all of
Yes.
these great. We'll see what
Great.
Grok
He
can
said
design
great.
for us.
He said great. They're not great. Okay. So you touched on this a bit. So how the whole overarching theme here, how can dads build lasting friendships with other dads? Now, the obvious and no brainer is just go to the events that your wife tries to get you to go to and stop saying no and show up and have an open mind and don't be a jerk. You know, very easy. Maybe it's not easy for some people. Uh, but there's other things you can do. And Jimmy, you mentioned the church groups or the different study groups, Iron Sharpens Iron, Band of Brothers, all those type of things. You see those in your local community, sign up. Don't just say no. Don't immediately, oh, Jimmy, you left me again. Why'd you leave me? Hang on, I gotta go back. Uh oh, he's gone. Okay, well, so like I was saying, you have your normal community events. You have men's groups. Um, you can reach out in like, if you have kids. This is dads. So there he is. Show
Sorry,
killing me, Jimmy.
sorry.
So I was saying you can reach out community events. We are all talking about being dads and fathers here. So to get involved with groups, other dads have kids, and there's usually events that your kids have. If your kids are in events together, like soccer events, that's a great time to strike up a conversation with the other dad while you're at the event. Invite them over for birthday things. Invite them over after the game for a meal. Different things like that. You don't gotta be awkward like I am all the time about it, but you can definitely come up with some solution that would be the minimum cringe possible. Because whatever I tell you to do, however I initiate the conversation, won't be the ideal way. Right, Jimmy?
Yeah, that's a good life motto. Minimum cringe.
Minimum cringe,
Yeah.
maximum dad.
Yeah, there's two approaches. I mean, that's what popped in my mind. The way you were talking about getting out with other guys, it's either accidental
Mhm.
or it's intentional.
Yeah.
And I've got some good friendships that I've picked up along the way that I would definitely classify as accidental. Like we just happened to be at the same thing and we just kind of hit it off or whatever. But the ones that have really had the most lasting impact are the ones that I put energy into and it was more intentional. That can be exhausting or it could be intimidating or there's a lot of what ifs that would cause me to stay in my shell. But you know, who knows the journeys that we miss because we never even started.
That's right. Ooh.
That's right. It's deep.
So on your own side, without like before you even step foot out the door, something you can do would be to pray about it. So that's something I always struggle doing before I try to do something. Like if I'm really nervous about something, it's a lot easier for me to remember to pray about it. But on the daily, if it's just something that's outside my comfort zone, that's something I need more help with is remembering to do that. It's putting not that praying about it's going to instantly magically poof a dad into your life and you're going to have friends, but it's setting your heart in the correct direction. You know, hey, if this is supposed to happen, if this is something that's supposed to be healthy for me, then I need to be open for it, and putting my priorities first of um, getting right with the situations I'm in with God. That's probably the best start you can ever have. So whatever you might be doing, maybe pray about getting more friends, more meaningful friends in your life, and that might be a first step because that gets you more in the mindset, at least, of hey, I'm going to be intentional about this instead of just listening to some podcast once a week and hoping that solves all my problems. Speaking of that, if you have not already gone to dadschoolpodcast.com and checked out all of our massive amounts of one page of info on there and clicked on our YouTube link and hit subscribed and liked to it, you too can be on the weekly notification every single Wednesday morning when we go live. Hit that bell icon and it'll go dink and pop up on your phone and tell you, hey, these two outstanding, upstanding dudes are online again here for you. And if you happen to miss us and you're getting this secondhand from a streaming service or a podcast service, please still go to dadschoolpodcast.com. Check out our one page of info and make sure to follow us on any kind of socials, share with your friends because sharing is caring, and drop us a note. Drop us a message on our new friend contact form at the very bottom of the website, and we promise to get back with you in a timely manner. Unless you're spam, then I'm just gonna delete you.
So don't word your email as though it sounds like it's coming from spam.
Yeah, or if you're some kind of prince from another country and you think that I have money, I mean, you obviously don't know me then, and I'm gonna delete you. And if your name is spam, that's unfortunate. I'm probably gonna delete you too.
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
Yeah. So we praying for friends. Back to the topic. Praying for friends. Now, this phrase, being real with somebody, I've always kind of laughed at that because, like, I don't know, maybe I don't approach a person and try to be fake. And that's not my intention because a very young age, I think I learned that if you have too many different faces to try to manage them all, it just gets awkward and the worlds collide. So I just stopped trying to be different people for different people, and I'm me. So for me, being real and being open and whatnot is just kind of how I am. I'm the same with each person, in my opinion. Maybe I'm different and everyone thinks I'm different. I don't know. Maybe that's a fallacy for myself. But the point is being open with your friends, being open and legitimate with your friends is a very important thing to do. Because if you're just being someone you're not, and people usually can see through that, it's not going to help you build friendships. So you need to be the best you can be, and not a fake you. You need to be a you, the real you.
That's right. You know, I'm gonna. This is gonna be an encouragement to myself. That maybe there's some guys that in the past have been hugely impactful. I can think of a few that have had a huge impact on my life, and we used to be in contact regularly, often, all the time, and that's absolutely something I cherish. The time that we had together, that we worked on things together, and for whatever reason, a lot of times my own get in my own head or my own insecurities, those relationships maybe kind of dry up or peter out. And pushing myself to reach back out to those guys and just see what they're up to. I used to, in a prior job that I had a lot of car time. I was in my car driving a ton, put way too many miles on my car in that first couple of years that I had it. But in that period of my life, I loved taking on the practice of what I just called windshield time. If I got windshield time, I want to reclaim that. I want to be doing something productive. And I got to listen to a lot of really cool audiobooks because I'm a slow reader with my eyes, but I can take in a book at double speed with my ears.
Yes.
That's just the way I'm wired.
We're the
So yeah, I
same,
got to
same,
explore.
Jimmy. Same.
Same thing. Yeah. So I tackled a lot of fun audiobooks, a bunch of different books that I always wanted to explore. So I got to do that. Found some favorite podcasts. So I would challenge myself in my thinking with a bunch of different podcasts. But then whenever possible as well, I would just call up just random guys. And like, hey, I'm in the car for the next couple hours if you're available. You want to chat for a little bit. And it was a great opportunity for me to reclaim a moment that otherwise I'm just staring at the cows as they go by my window in rural Missouri. And yeah, and my current routines in life, I don't have that kind of car time anymore. So are there opportunities where I can build that margin in to still do that? Just reach out to other guys like, hey, I was thinking about you. There's something that you had said once that challenged me in a certain way. I want to come back to that conversation. Yeah, so that's kind of my personal goal this week is to try to recapture a couple of those that I let peter out over the years.
So you are calling people on the phone in your car back in a time when car audio wasn't the greatest on phone service, right? So the other person probably got like a hey, this is Jimmy. Like a bunch of road noise in the background. You want to talk for an
Probably.
hour?
They just kind of set the phone over here
Yeah.
and go do whatever they're going to do. And I'm just, rambling on.
So
But
you have
hey,
to go,
I felt great.
Yeah. Jimmy. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny. Is it healthy, you think, each week to set, I don't know if this is healthy or not, but do you think it's a good idea to set a goal, like maybe this week, like you said, reach out to one dude from our past and have a meaningful conversation with him, catch up, see how he's doing, see if you can pray for him or anything, and then maybe each week try something different. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
each week add to it. So you keep on doing that, but add to it so you can increase, what you're doing with other people. It's ideas.
Yeah. So that should be everyone's homework this week. You didn't know you were going to get homework today, but here we are.
Yeah, well, maybe you can do that. Maybe your interaction's awkward and terrifying and terrible. We want to hear about this.
That's right.
Please go to dadschoolpodcast.com and fill out that contact form and tell us all about your awkward and horrible attempt to reach out to another dude. We will both enjoy listening to it and encourage you to do it some more because that's great content.
And the most embarrassing ones that come through, we will share your name and your photo with our wide audience. We'll tell everyone about it.
We will tell all 4 people that this happened to you. So, that's an encouragement.
No, please. But please do. If anyone has a great experience, we genuinely would love to just hear from any of you.
Yeah, we're very lonely and sad friends. We want more. Okay,
join us in our misery.
Yeah, join us in our misery. So we talked about a lot of things the past 2 weeks, and I think we can put this topic to bed unless we get more comments coming in from all of our sources that tell us we want more of this topic. But I think we wrapped this one up, and we've made a point to mention that it's important not to be alone as a guy. It's important to have other upstanding dudes in your life, and it's important to make sure those people are have the best interests for you in mind, not monetarily, but spiritually, ethically, morally, all those things. You need to make sure people are pouring into you and you're pouring into other people in the right ways. Final thoughts, Jimmy. Final thoughts.
Ooh, on the topic or hodgepodge?
Anything.
Super proud dad moment just happened a couple nights ago. Yeah, okay. These are always good. I shared a while back. Our oldest had kind of started her own little business making and selling bracelets, and over the last year, she was able to raise enough to get her own foosball table, and so that was like, super proud dad moment. Well, she just a couple nights ago received an order, a custom order for 40 bracelets.
Ooh,
And yeah, I mean, that's just that's super exciting to continue seeing her have win after win of something that she genuinely enjoys doing. She's been able to monetize it. And then someone reached out and said, "Hey, I had an idea. Is this something you'd be able to tackle for me?" And she's
nice.
like I think at first intimidated, but then like super excited. And then she's even like, this is really cool. She's even got her first employee. She's
Ooh,
roped in little sister to help. And she's already told her, like, you know what, if you can help me with this much of it, I'll pass some of the money on to you. And little sister is excited. And so she's already
nice.
like figuring out, okay, well, if I'm gonna have you help, then I need to make sure that you're making good quality items. And so she's learning how to coach and lead, and like, this is great. I love it. So
So are
super
you gonna
proud dad
step in
moment.
and be like, okay, we gotta set OSHA regulations up here. We have a poster in the kitchen. We have all the employees sign. You
Uh-huh.
should just red tape the crap out of this and see what happens.
Where everyone's gonna wear hard hats
Yes.
and yellow reflective vests.
Get the standard safety training videos, like the oh yeah, let's not get into that. I was about going down like diversity and inclusion videos. I'm like, wait, nope, hard stop, breaks.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, harassment in the workplace. It's like, Dad, you do
Uh-huh.
that. It's like, no, I don't. Stop it.
No, I don't. I don't tell fart jokes. What are you talking
No,
about?
no, not. It's not inappropriate to be a dad. That's really exciting though. That's cool that her business is continuing to be successful, and I hope that that is a positive influence in her life going forward. That'd be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool, cool.